Hi guys, welcome back. I think it should be fine now. Although what I can see is there is a little bit delay, but that should be fine. I'm gonna tell you how to start with VelocityX, and this is a project which I'll be using. Let me just increase the font size a little bit. So I'll go to settings and I'll increase to 22, and now it should be good. So let me just tell you what we will be doing again. So I have this dummy Flutter project, and inside that we will use VelocityX, and we will see how we can create like good responsive UIs, as well as how it will solve lot of things which you do on normal basis. So basically we kind of use some widgets regularly, and using VelocityX, what advantage you will get is that you don't have to use it in a way which you use. So basically it will be easy for you. So yes, so idea is making your app responsive, as well as easier to perform operations, okay, or easier to perform, like, use any kind of widgets. So that's the basic idea. Then when I'm saying that, then let's start, okay, without like wasting so much time. So this is a normal example. As you can see on the screen, we have this hi text. Let me know if any like voice or the video is not visible clearly, so that you get a good experience. So basically this is a dummy application where we have like nothing on the screen. As you can see, I will go to my pubspec.yml, and the first thing which I'll do, I'll add VelocityX here. So now VelocityX is published on pub. So if I'll open this particular website, as you can see, velocityx.dev is the website. And if you will go to pub, then you can say pub.dev, and here you can find VelocityX. I think it should be coming like this. Otherwise you can just change here /VelocityX. So this is the package, and the current version is 0.1.1. So at 0.1.1 is the release which we will be using. Okay, so now I'll go back, and inside this pubspec.yml, what I'll do, I'll press Ctrl+Shift+P, and I'll add dependency. So this is a package which you can use. Otherwise what you can do, you can also like just write your package here. Let's say velocity _x, and the version is, as I told you, 0.1.1. so now if I'll just save it, then VS Code will fetch the data for me, and if it gives you exit code 0, which means it is successful, right? So now because we have VelocityX now, so in the main.dart, what I'll do, I'll import VelocityX, and that's what you have to do. Now inside this home page, as you can see, we have center and all that stuff. I'm just gonna change few of those things, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use a scaffold, okay, and then let's have an app bar so that it does not look bad. So app bar is there. Now when it comes to title, now you know that title takes a text as a widget, right? So rather than specifying text and providing all the properties, you can just give your text like in a string. So I can say VelocityX Demo. So there's one more thing, guys. If you have watched my previous video about VelocityX, there are a lot of things changed because I had to take some decisions based on the performance, so that I can give you better performance. So now VelocityX Demo, you can see, so this is a normal text, but this is a string, and this title, as you can see, it takes a widget, not a string. So what you have to do is basically you will say dot here, and you will say text. So when you say text, it expects that you will add more properties to it. So if you have to add more properties, then you can go ahead and you can add them. Otherwise you can say dot make. So dot make means that yes, I am done with this text and we are good to go. So that's the idea. Otherwise, what you could say is, let's say after text you could add more properties, like what is the color of the text and everything. I'll explain you that. And when you are doing make, you can also do make centered, which means that it will automatically wrap it in on center. So basically these are the two things which you have to remember. So now if I do a control restart, then let's see what happens. So are we getting any error? Okay, we cannot get VelocityX for some reason. What happened? Let's do a hot restart. And yes, so as you can see, as soon as I did the hot restart, now we have this VelocityX demo on the top, right? So what's actually, so as you can see, this title looks a little bit small to me, right? So in that case, what you can do, you can say dot text dot xl. So xl means it will increase the title size. So there are a lot of title sizes which are available by default, so it just increases the scale factor. So there is xl, and if you see, there is xl2, xl3, xl4, xl5, xl6. Similarly, it has like sm, medium, and xs, which is extra small. So yep, you have like a lot of options. Okay, so we will go with xl, or you can also go with large, which is lg. So lg looks good to me, but xl was little bit more bigger what I actually want, right? So we have this particular thing right here. Now if you want to change the color, then you could say like after text, or maybe after xl, anywhere you want. Before make, you have to like after text and before make, anywhere you can do any kind of property. Let's say if I want it to be yellow, then I can say yellow, and these are the shades. And this is different from the material design. Why? Because it's like more classic colors which you will find in css frameworks like tailwind css. So if I choose here yellow 500, then you will see the text color will be changed to yellow. It's not exactly yellow but it's a darker version of yellow, because the background is blue, so that's why it's looking like that. So I'll go with the white only. So or the default one only. So default, by default it will be white. So that's it, this is good to go. Now we will go to the body part, and now the real struggle will start, because what actually happen in body, we generally have more than like one widget, and most of the time you use column here with you can say scrolling enabled, which means you use a single child scroll view. So for that, what you can do, you can call it Vstack. So Vstack is very much similar to column, it's nothing different. But the thing is that it can just take widgets here. You don't have to specify children and everything. You can give the children directly in this particular list. Or what you could do, so this is one way. I'll tell you the another way as well. So let's say I have three texts here. So first text will be, let's say text 1, and I'll say this text to be extra large, let's say 3, and dot make. Similarly, I'll add more text here. So text 2, text 3. So as you can see, we have three texts. So text 2 and text 3. So I'll change the size of them, let's say 4, and let's say 5. So as you can see, it is very easy to do this kind of things. And then this is when this is done, what you have to do. So now this is a vertical stack. Basically it is inspired from Swift UI. So vertical stack is there. Let's increase them more. Let's add 3 more, and then let's add 3 more, then 3 more, and 3 more, 3 more, 3 more. So as you can see, after some time it showed this popular error, which was expected, right? So what's the problem is that now it needs a scroll view. So basically what you can do now, after this Vstack, you can directly say that you want it to scroll. So you can say scroll horizontal or scroll vertical. So basically we are dealing with the vertical alignment, so we can say scroll vertical, and as soon as you do it, the error is gone and now it will scroll. So if I'll try to scroll, you can see it's scrolling, right? So this is what you can do. Now there is one more use case which you could do, like the similar use case, but right now it's a widget. So Vstack is a widget itself, which we are using. Let's say we want to use extension method like how we used scroll vertical. Then what we could do, I'll just copy this from here, okay, and I will remove this. Now what I'll do, I'll just paste the sorry, what actually happened, let me just copy this again, and I'll remove this entirely and I'll paste the list only. So this was my list, and after you are done with the list, as there are widgets only inside the list, then if you'll press dot, then from here also you can call it Vstack, okay, and then after Vstack you can call it scroll vertical. So as you can see, the result is the same, okay. So basically this is the result which we are getting, right? And let's say you want to write more properties, like you want to make the cross axis alignment to center, then you can do that still. So if I do that, you can see it's now in center, although it's not in center, but technically because we want to call it in center, so it's in center. It's looking very ugly as of now. Let me just remove it. And then what you can do, let's say you want to give some padding to this list as well. So we could say vstack dot p, and p is for padding. I mean, there are a lot of already predefined numbers here. So let's say we want to give 16 padding, so we can just say p16, and you will see we got the padding, right? And it's that easy. Now to explain more about text, what I'm gonna do, let's say the first text which you can see on the screen, I am going to give it some color. So let's say I will say red and 500, so it will be of red color, as you can see. Now what I'll do, I'll also, for the second text, I will make it red 700, and I will make it let's say bold. So I can say bold, and it is now bold, which is pretty good, right? For the third one, let's say I want it to be blue 500. So blue 500, and I want it to have spacing as wider. So wider is the spacing, which means it will give some extra space between the text. And then let's say I want to say that it should be semi bold as well. So semi bold, and as you can see, we have this semi bold thing. Now let me just remove all the remaining ones, and now let's add more properties to this. Let's say I want its line height to be, let's say, relaxed or loose. So I can say loose, and it will give some more line height to this. And then these all properties are configurable. So basically, let's say if you want to set your own color, you can use a dot color, and you can give the color property here. So this is mostly what you do. And now if I go back to this VelocityX documentation, then you can open here the color section or text section. So inside text, you can see we have this font scale. So this is XS, SM, base, LG, XL, XL2, XL3, XL4, XL5, XL6. So this is the idea. Then custom font size, you can specify like this. Then font weight is there, font style, alignment, if you want to align them in center or start, whatever you want to do. And then letter spacing is there, decoration is there, text utilities are there. So let me just show you the great part about it. So let me just say that I want it to be underlined. So what I could say is underline, okay, and you can see it is underlined. Now it comes with some utility as well. Let's say you want to capitalize all of them, so you can say uppercase, and it will be uppercase, as you can see. Similarly, we have lowercase as well. So lowercase is there, so it will make it lowercase. There is something called capitalize as well. So basically it will just so if let's say it was a small text 3, then also you will see the first particular word of this letter will be capital, so that means capitalize. I mean, for every word the first letter will be the capital one. And then guys, there is something called hide partial, which will hide like some amount of your text. Okay, so this is something which this just one line of code can do for you. And now like moving like ahead, I would take some questions. If you have some questions, then I'm gonna answer for next 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'll tell you more about Velocity X, and then we will also move for the responsive part. So please shoot out if you have any questions so far, and then we will talk more about it. So the first question I can see on the chat was, hi, we can use VelocityX. Is this something available? From where we get this? Yes, you can get it from pub.dev. So if you will see this pubspec.yml, then this is what you have to add in your pubspec.yml, VelocityX and 0.1.1. Otherwise you can go back to your like you can go to this VelocityX.dev website, and everything is written over there, although the documentation is still not complete, but I'll complete it. So this is something which you can do now. Yes, so if that is your question, is this fully stable, then yes, whatever is present right now is actually stable, because I am using in one of my biggest project. So it's like I released it only after after testing it properly, that if it is causing any performance issue or not. So right now what I can say is whatever is available is totally performant, as well as it is totally stable. So there can be minor issues somewhere. If let's say for a particular specific text you want to do something else, then definitely there is something like if something is not available, then it is not available. I cannot do much about it. Can it be used for web also? It can be used for everything. I'm gonna show you how it works on web, so please don't worry. That's why I'm doing this live session, because of coronavirus. Anyway, we are house arrested, so I thought doing a live session right now. So love from Pakistan, thank you so much. How to make responsive app? Yes, I'll cover being creating responsive app in this video only, so don't worry. It is just like the styles which we create in React Native. You can say that. So it's highly inspired from Tailwind CSS, and a few of its components are taken from Swift UI, because Flutter is very much different from like CSS in terms of design, as well as it's different from Swift UI. But the thing is that both of those technologies have something common, which we can use in Flutter. So that was the inspiration. Now should we go ahead? So I have a lot of things to explain and a lot of things to showcase, like so please let me know how's your experience so far with the whatever I have shown you. Like this is very easy, as you can say that like you can create your own text widgets, and you can do styling and all that. But just think about like how many times you actually use a text widget, and how many times you have to like do all the styling. So that's where Velocity X comes to the picture, and it solves that problem. Now let's say we have a normal text, like I'll make another text, and that we will use text widget. Okay, so 1 second, caps is on for some reason. Okay, so this is my text, and as usual I'll write hello world here, and it should be good. So hello world is right there, right? Now there is one more thing. Let's say this hello world is there. Now let's say you have style also. I'm talking about, let's say you have already an existing app, and let's say in the style you are saying that the color of this text is colors dot, let's say, brown. Okay, so this is your text. Now what if you want to use Velocity X with this text? Okay, so let's say I want to change the color from colors dot brown to, let's say, my Velocity X colors. I want to use something like red 400, or maybe let's say indigo 500, then you can just write dot here, and then you can apply text to this text widget as well. And then you can say something like, I want to use indigo 500, and then you have to use make to complete it. And now if you will see, it will give you indigo 500. So basically whatever design you have already specified, it will override it. Okay, but let's say there is one more use case. Let's say a particular property which you want, which is not available with VelocityX. Let's say if line height was not there in VelocityX, right? Although it is there, but let's say something is missing. Maybe there can be things like shadows is missing right now, so shadows are not there. So basically you can go here, let's say line height. If I talk about line height, although it's there, but let's assume it's not there, so height is there, and I can specify any height in my normal style, and you can see the height was given using this your normal style. So basically whatever is present will always be like taken from VelocityX. Otherwise you can any day use your own like text widgets what Flutter actually gives you. So that's the idea. So text can be used, as well as it has cool utilities, like you saw capitalized, uppercase, and like lowercase, hide, partial, and all these things are available. Now I'll move to another part of using, let's say, something else. What else? So as soon as I removed all the widgets, as you can see, this Vstack will now start giving me error, because this is a list and there is no widget. So when there is no widget, then this list should not be used with any Vstack or any kind of stack, right? Or like column, row, you can still use rows, columns, or normal stack. But when you want to use something very much related to VelocityX, then I call it Vstack for column, and I call H stack for row, and Z stack for stack. So that's what I do. Okay, and now let's see, if I have a text and I am saying, let's say, welcome to the world of VelocityX. So this is my text, and I'll say dot text dot make. Okay, and if you want to see like what happens if I do make centered, then I'm gonna just tell you that as well. So if you do make centered, then you will see it will move it to the center. Okay, that's one thing. Now there is one question, let me just take it. I was wondering how cascaded expressions fit along with VelocityX. I personally, I'm really not a very big fan of cascaded like expressions. I tried that as well, but I didn't find it like this easy or this good in terms of getting the feedback in terms of IntelliSense from your IDE. So I think this is something which you can like do. Can we use Flutter widgets inside VelocityX widgets? Yes, you can use it. I'm gonna explain that as well. Like it's like you can use VelocityX anywhere. It's just an extra thing which will just help you in like improving your like overall experience as a developer with like Plus Designer. That's what I can say. So now let's take this example. So this is my text, and this is the centered what it is doing. Now let's say I want it to be white. Why white? Let's not do it white. Now I want to wrap it with a container. Okay, that's very easy, that you will just wrap it with a container and it will be done, right? But with VelocityX, it's even more easier. After make, you can use any number of widgets. So what I'll do now, I will say for a container, I call it box. So dot, you can say dot box. And because this box is itself a widget, so you have to make it as well. So when you do that, then there is a box. Now it is wrapped with a container, but we haven't given it any color. So let's say I want to give some color. So let's say I can say, let's say any color, you can say green 500, let's assume. If I do that, you can see we have this container, which is a box, and it has this green color. Now this is not the best looking box I have ever created. So what I can do, I can give some padding to this box. So what you can do after box, you can box also have this padding. So there is a padding method as well, and you can use all the custom padding. So let's say I give it something like p32, and if I refresh it, then you can see we have this kind of box. Okay, although we can give like height and width as well to this box. So if you'll see, then we have for box we have dot height, and you can set its value, let's say 100, and then we have dot width as well. So you can, let's say you can call it 100, so it will become a square box. And there is one more thing guys which I forgot to tell you, that even if, let's say I wrapped it with 100 width and height, then also this text is not broken, right? Otherwise it could have, like normally it could have shown you that the overflow issue, pixel issue, but this is something which it is not showing, right? So yes, you can create dynamic widgets through JSON if that's your question. So this is something which I wanted to show you. So I'm removing height and width. This is looking good. Now what I wanted to give, like I wanted to make it look rounded. So you have multiple properties here like rounded. So rounded gives you border, and you can see it's now rounded, and there are multiple versions available of rounded as well. So you can say something like rounded LG, which is rounded large, and it will give it more border radius. It you could say, oh wait, it is gone. You could say rounded SM means small, so it's very little rounded, right? And then you could say something like rounded full, which will convert it exactly in a circle, and it does not look really good for this particular use case. But yes, that can be done if you have, let's say, just a normal box. Then I'll go with rounded, and also it has this with rounded property. You can specify your number here. Let's say if I say 40, so okay, what it is taking, so it takes a value, so value is there, so let's say 40, and it will give you the custom round border radius. Okay, so yes, this is what we can do. Right now I'm not showing anything about dynamic widgets through JSON because this is a very separate video, so please ask that question later. Okay, so we will do now, we will go back to documentation, and you can see, let me make it rounded. And now going back to documentation, here you have box. So inside box you can see we can use these properties. So basically if you have text, then you can use this kind of box. Height and width is there. You can provide your own margins. You can provide your own color. Alignment is there, like align top, center, top, left, and all that. Shadows are there, which I'll just show you. Transform is there if you want to apply some transformation. Rounding is there, which I just showed you. Gradient is there, I'm gonna show you that as well. Border is there. You can also give background image, and there is an example as well in the bottom. So that's the idea. Let me just give it some shadow. So let's make the padding as 64 to give it like more height and width. And now let me just give it some shadow. As you can see, I am adding the properties anywhere. I'm not following any pattern like I have to edit after color or before this. This is not something which you have to do. So as you can see, it has some padding now, and it has some shadow as well. So you have to test like which shadow is working fine for your widget. So not every kind of shadow will be useful for every kind of height and width of the widgets, and these shadows are predefined based on what they generally use in CSS frameworks. So yes, that's something which I wanted to show you. Then you can also have alignment. Let's say if this text was not centered, let me remove the center property of it, and now you can see this text is not exactly centered. Then you can also say that I want to have this alignment, so dot alignment at bottom right, and because we are expanding the padding, so that's why this is not looking good. But let me give it some height and width. So let's say if height was let's say 200 and width was 300, then we can better understand it. So as you can see, now the text is in bottom right, and if I say align center, then text is in the center. So all of these things can be done, and this is what you can do. Now let me just remove this entirely, and let me just tell you what if let's say you don't have a text or you don't have any widget, right? But you want to use a container, then you can use it. But similarly, if you want to use box, then you have to apply dot box, right? But there is nothing to write dot over, so you can directly say velocity box. So if you say velocity box, then you can apply the same properties that you have to make it. That's the thing. And let's say I want to give some height and width, then directly I can give it from here as well. So let's say uh, width is 300, height is 200, and let me just give it some color, red 500. So it will generate this kind of box. So before proceeding further, if you have any question, then you can ask me now. We will take 2 to 3 minutes break, and now we will move to responsive UIs, creating responsive UIs. So please ask if you have any questions so far. We have already gone through half an hour, so now it's time for your the most wanted thing, which is responsive applications. So if you have any question, if you don't have any question, you can just write no questions, so that we can still I can see there are 23 people watching it or 21 people watching it, so that would be great. And also make sure you are already the subscriber of the channel, so that I think nobody has any questions. So let me go ahead. So now I will tell you how to create responsive apps using VelocityX. So this is something which is very important, and for that I will be using normal web. Okay, so before that there is something which I want to tell you. So if you will go to the documentation, I want to just give you brief idea. So colors is basically when you want to see what kind of colors are available. The color palette is also there, so that you can check with their hex code as well. You can apply hex value as well to any color. So that's something which I wanted to tell you. Then there is something else which is very important, that the padding which we give, you can check all the paddings from here, where you can how you can give custom padding, that's also available. Any alternate of slivers, I am working on that. So slivers as well as animations are something which I'll be making a very good kind of widgets using VelocityX in the future. So that's something. Geofencing plugin, it's something very unrelated to this video, so please don't shoot those kind of questions which is not related to this video as of now. We will take your questions later. Then this text, you can see all the text thing here. Then we have this card, where you can see all the card related stuff. So card is kind of very much related to box. You just have to use card. And there is circular card, zero circular card, which means with zero elevation. So that's something. Then we have size box. So size box is basically the width and height which I applied right now. Like width, height, you can give percentage of width and height, which I'll show you, don't worry. Then flex is there. Flex can be used to give how CSS flex are you give. So there is widgets like velocity, inline flex, something like that, so you can check them. Then list, I already showed you Vstack, not Vstack, I showed you Vstack. Z stack is there, H stack is there. Object, you can make object fit to center, or you can change their position, align them. So that's what it has. Opacity we can use. Transform we can use to rotate them. Velocity we can use. Velocity widgets are some set of widgets which I'll show you right now. utilities. There are many utilities, like I showed you, for like text, as well as there are for strings, lists, and what else, um, and responsive UI. That's what we are going to cover now. So now there is one question. So what about animation? Is there anything related to animation in VelocityX? Yes, that's what I said. Animation is something I'm working on. So you will definitely receive some good widgets for animations as well very soon. But that was the second step, so that's why I haven't included it yet. But yes, VelocityX will solve some of the animation, not problems, but yes, it will make it more easy to use animations. So now going back here, now let's come to this particular part. Let me just show you before we finish it. Let me just show you how to transform them. So you can just say rotate here, and you can say rotate 45, then it will rotate it like 45 degree. And then you can use, like, say rotate 180, so it will rotate it 180 degree. So yeah, you can do all those kind of things with VelocityX. Now I will move further and I'll explain how to write responsive UIs. Okay, let's end this first of all. So now we are, this body is blank now. So, and let me just remove this as well, because this also does not make any sense as of now. And for body, let's have a container. Yep. So now this context which you get from your like this build method, or anywhere, if you see this context, then this context can now be really powerful for you. Why I'm saying that? Because VelocityX gives extension to this context. So let me just show you what is the power of it. So if I'll try to print from here, you can use context dot, and first of all you can get the device size. So if I'll say this, then if I'll try to show you the debug console, then let me just print it. So you can see here the mobile device size is large, so we are using a large screen if we are talking about mobile devices. Okay, but if we will talk about, let's say MD window size is something which is more like width and pixels. For window size, it is very like extra small. Okay, so basically if you will compare, like let's say if you are making app only for mobile, and but mobile have different variants, right? So because I'm using this 6-inch phone, so that's why it is saying that mobile device is large. But if let's say we are just talking about the width and height, then for mobile window size it is extra small. So that's what I wanted to show you. So if I now print it, then you will see mobile window size dot extra small. Now how this can be really helpful, I will show you, but let me just print whatever you get right now. So there is something called MD columns. So it will tell you how many number of columns can it support. So it is inspired from material design guidelines. So as you can see, it is showing number 4. Okay, similarly there is MD gutter, and how many gutters can be there? 16. So what does it mean? I'll just tell you, just wait for so we will go to MD gutter here, and on the top you will see there is a link which can be really helpful for you. So we will go to this material design, and yes, this link. So I'm gonna open it. So everything is written over here, that what should be, what are the columns, what are the gutters, what are the margins. So you can take a look in this particular URL, which is material.io/design/layouts/responsive layout grid. So these gutters and columns are taken over from there. Okay, but having said that, you don't have to use all of these. Okay, only when it is required. Otherwise, most of the time, 99% time, it is not required, because I'll give you a separate way of how you can create responsive apps. Now when I'm talking about context, it has many things, like you can use context.nav to push and pop. So like normal navigation you can use like with context. Then it can also give you media query. So media query is there, you can see. it will also tell you if your device is landscape. If you will use that, then if you'll see it's showing false, which means your device is not landscape, it is portrait. Then it has it can give you width as well, so you can say screen width. So if you'll say screen width, this is the screen width which you are getting. One second. Okay, so width is 411 pixels something something. Similarly, it can give you screen height. So screen height is 774.8571. These are few things which I just wanted to tell you before you use it. Again you can also get percent of screen width. So percent is 4.11. Okay, so what does it mean? Using this, let's say if you want to display something on 10% of the screen width, you just have to apply into 10 and it will give you 10% of the screen width. Okay, what does this mean? Let's say this container, I want to give its width to 10%. So you can use context.percent width into 10, whatever is the number. So now if I give it some color, for us, let's assume it's colors dot red. So you can see this is the 10%. Okay, if I'll say 50%, for let's say just for assumption, then you will see it took 50%. If I'll say 100%, then you will see it took 100%, no errors at all. Okay, this is something. Now let's say you will say that there can be a specific use case when there is safe area or something, like when you are dealing with iOS, then there is safe percent width as well. So safe percent width as of now is exactly the same because there is no safe area in this particular phone or device I am using. So yeah, there's a lot of things. So this is something which I wanted to tell you. Now when I'm saying percent width, percent height, there is something else which like you can use, which is this MQ is basically media query. You can access anything from there. Then there is text theme which you can use. There is size which you can use directly. So text theme is basically, it's if you use theme.off context.text theme, it is the same thing. Okay, now why I gave you this idea, because I wanted to let you know that how it works. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll shut down this application and I will run it on the web so that I can show you what it is about responsive UI which VelocityX offers apart from these contexts. So context or whatever additional thing which we get. So now what I'm gonna do, I will run it on Chrome and I'll see what are the things which it can do. So as you can see, we have this container. I'll change the size and I'll show you what I meant by window size. Okay, so let me just calculate it once more. So context dot md window size. So when we say md window size, now I'll open the debug console. As you can see, this is small, right? This is small, and just keep looking into it. It is small and now extra small, which is the mobile size. Now if I'll go further, then it is medium now, and then it is large now. As you can see, still you can see it. And now if I'll just do it, then you will see it came to extra large or not. So no, yes, it came to extra large as well, as you can see. Okay, so this is something which it do. Now still there is one question, how you will deal with all of these, right? What you will do with this property which it is giving. Obviously you can apply if else and you can render your designs, but that's not only the power of VelocityX, because it comes with a lot of things. What I'm showing you is kind of a really good widget which I have made it using VelocityX. So yes, so now let's see. So there is a widget. First widget which I'm gonna talk about is Velocity Device. So Velocity Device is the name of the widget which you can use to make it always responsive. You can give a design for mobile and a design for web. Okay, and if you don't want, then let me just show you how it works. So let's say I have a text where I can say welcome to mobile dot text, okay, dot let's say white dot let's say this, let's just make center. So this is the text which is for mobile, okay, keep watching it. Then I want a box and I would want to give it some color, let's say red 500. Then it should be rounded, then it should have shadow 2 XL, okay. Okay, this is something. And then because it's mobile, so obviously what I want to do is I want to make it first make, and because it's mobile, so I want to give it height of width and height of, let's say 300 into 300. Let's assume that, okay, we have to actually say width height. And similarly I'll copy this, and for web I will paste it again, welcome to web I will say. And you can see we have this now, and I will change the color from red to green, and width and height, let's say 600 width and 600 height. So this is something which we can do. And now let's also make it centered. So make centered so that we can see that in center, although because we have given width, okay, this is also, this should be make centered as well. Okay guys, so this is something which you can see. If I do a hot restart, let me see if, okay, the problem is that I specify width, and so order is important, that's what I want to tell you. If I remove this from here and if I apply this here, then it should move it to center. Okay, I did the same thing again, I guess. Nope. So I will move it here and then I will make it to center, and I will remove this from here. So the idea why what I'm showing you is actually not something important. I'll come to that part, but just wanted to give you some idea. Okay, so this is what we have. So we are using Velocity device, which takes a mobile as well as web version. So as you can see, this is welcome to mobile, it is showing. Now if I'll just expand it, then you can see it came to welcome to web. And for this smaller, like for the all the screen size for the entire portion, it will be welcome to web. But as soon as it will go to mobile size, it will be welcome to mobile. Okay, this is something which it provides. But then there can be like, let's say if you want to control all these kind of device sizes or window sizes, then let me just copy this, and I'll copy this and comment it so that I can show you. There is one more thing, and that is in the body you can use something called VelocityResponsive. So this is another widget which gives you many more. So it has extra small, okay, so extra small widget where you can say, let's say extra small dot text dot xl6 dot make. So extra small is there, okay, and it works without giving any error because I have specified extra small. But if you will go further, it will give you error. Why? Because there is no fallback. So there can be a fallback. So fallback is basically, you can say that nothing is specified. So fallback will be working if that device screen size you haven't specified. So you can say nothing specified, nothing specified. So now if I'll show you this, then it won't give you any error, or it's still giving some error. Why that happened? Let me just see. Okay, maybe there is a bug in this particular method, which I'll fix it, don't worry. Now for like you have other parameters as well. From small you can say the same thing. So I'll fix the bug, by the way, if there is any bug. So small is there. Let me just test if we provide all of them, then it works or not. So medium is there. So let's say medium. we can have let's say medium, and we have large. So large is there, and last is extra large, which I'm gonna use. So extra large, although this extra is not the extra. It's very okay. So now we have extra small. As soon as I will expand it, you can see this is now small, and it is now medium, which is kind of cool, right? And then large, okay, and then extra large, okay. So this is something which you can do. So this is kind of very responsive, and you can see all of these things you can do using VelocityX, right? This is really amazing, right? Then let's assume, even if this is not your case, you want to specify something on your own, then also I have got you covered. I have like so many things to tell you. So now you can also use something called velocity conditional. So well, what is velocity conditional? So you can specify a condition and then it will render that. So what we can say for the condition, we can say context dot md window size is equal to let's say mobile window size dot let's say if it is small, then only build it, okay. So if I'll say here, then I can say the same text, okay, and I can say small. So now you can see the screen is blank, but if I go to small, it is small, okay, and then it is gone again. So velocity conditional is for one condition only, correct? So this is something which can be really handy for you. Let's say for everything else, let's say if it is small, then you just want to show it, but otherwise you want to show something else, then there is again a fallback, so you can use that. So fallback, and if you, let's say for everything else, you will say extra small. So small, extra small, and extra small. So or it's a little confusing, so I'll say, let's say fallback, and now if you'll see it, small, fallback, and everything is there, okay. Now there is one more situation. Let's say if you want to specify cases, like for small you want to do something else, for bigger you want to do something else, you cannot have like switch cases, you don't want to show if else, that's why this widget is there, okay. So there is one more widget, guys, and that is velocity. Oh my god, there are a lot of widgets I have created, but any of these will work for you, depends on your like situation. So there is velocity conditional switch. So what it does is like it has properties. So I'll remove them first of all, and so if you will go here, then you will see that there is a value builder. So let me just show you. There is a value builder, and there is a case builder, and then there is fallback builder. What does it mean? So let me just show you. So first is value builder. So value builder should be there. Okay, why it's not? Okay, so there is one more thing which you have to specify. So velocity conditional switch works for like single and as well as for list. So I can say single. When I say single, then it means that it can handle one widget at a time, right? So we can say value builder, like what will be the value. So we can say, let's say context dot md window size. So this is the case. So this is basically the case. Now you have to make case builders. So if it is, let's say case builder is saying that if it is let's say mobile window size dot large, then you have to build a widget. Let's say now we can make this widget, right? So basically this case builder is for wrapping the widgets, and you have to specify context, and you should be good to go. So now this, if this is the case, then it will render this particular portion, otherwise it won't. And I think that's it. It should work now. What it has a fallback as well, and you have to specify context again. That is important. And now there is no callback. There is like this fallback is actually compulsory, so you have to do that as well. Please make sure. So fall. So you can see this is the fallback, and we have applied for large. So when we go to large, it's not working for some reason. Okay, so it should be mobile window size, not mobile device size. So that's my bad. So now if I do this, then you can see extra small and fall. So extra small should be actually large. So large, and it should work. So similarly, what you can do, yes, it's working. Similarly, you can have many cases here, like for different cases you can specify different things. So yes, so how it is different, let's say VelocityResponsive has some set of already optional kind of parameter, let's say x is small, large. But let's say this is not only for responsive designs. If let's say you want to apply something for device size, then you can make it like, you can specify your own use cases, like how many cases you have. So let's say if I say small, then it want to print something else. So this is actually for mobile device size, but VelocityResponsive is only for window size, and it's already predefined. So that's the difference between this and that. So most of the things are based on this particular thing. I think it will definitely help you to make your application responsive. I will make a different video as well to make your take a particular design and show you how you can make it responsive for mobile and web. And you can also actually check the source code of this. So this VelocityX, if I just want to show you, this is actually pretty responsive. So if you go to this color section, then if you will, I'll just, if let's say just try to grab this. Why okay, so as you can see, it's actually changing its size, and it is becoming responsive depending upon the size. So you can check it out. You can go to the source code, it is open sourced. So that's the idea, guys. And it works pretty well. So if you'll see, so similarly all of these screens are kind of responsive itself. So if you go like this, and even if you like try to go any further, there can be some random bugs, but yes, it works most of the time. Yes, it's looking good. Okay. So this is being done. So I hope that you will like this particular responsive way of doing things which VelocityX provides you. Now let me just give you a general idea about some other widgets or some other properties which it can help you with. So if you are using an integer, then it also gives you many properties. Let's say if it is even, infinite, negative, not null, and all those properties which we generally use, right? And using this integer also you can create your text. So if I say dot text and dot make, then it will actually generate one for you. So if it is not visible, let me just make it Excel6, and you can see 1. Let's say, what if you want to give it more size than Excel6? So Excel6 is the final value. So you can specify the size here, let's say 100. So it will be more bigger. And if let's say 200, so 200, 400, 400. And why these parameter in methods? So that if let's say someday you want to apply some kind of animation, then you will be needing this value. So that's why I am giving you this benefit of just using these values directly. Like you can replace it with something, let's say animation dot value, and it will work, right? So that's the idea behind these kind of things. Let's say you have similarly color here, you can also apply hex color. So if let's say you have a hex color, you can say let's say 000 333, if that works. So it's not hex yet, so hex, and you can see we have the color. Let me make it Excel6 again. So let me just give some random color, FF3355, so it's a red color. So yes, hex color is there. Then you can convert your own colors using VelocityX. So VelocityX itself is a class. So VelocityX, if you will say dot, you can see all the colors you can access, as well as hex to color method, which will convert your hex to any color color widget. So black color, blue 200, 300, 400, these are the colors which are available. Then you have pixel values as well. So dp 0, 1, 10, 12, 14, 2, 1 to like 64 is there, I guess. So dp maximum is 64. So 64 means 64 pixels, so that you don't have to hard code it anywhere. Then you have margin as well, like m1. This is edge insets value. So let's say if you want to give some padding, okay, so there should be some padding, and in the child you want to have some text, let's say this dot text dot make, okay, and now you want to give some padding. So you can use VelocityX and you can apply, let's say 12 padding. So 12 m12 is the padding, and you can see we give this padding, let me just make it 6. Okay, so now if you just want to give horizontal padding, let's say, so you can say mh and 12 and only horizontal padding, right, no vertical padding. If you want to give just vertical padding, then m12 and just a vertical padding. Okay, so this is something. So you don't even have to use it. It's just the case if you don't want to use normal behavior which VelocityX provides. Let me just remove this. So if I'll say remove this widget, then this is what we have, and we can directly apply padding here, let's say using p tag. So p12, this is something which you can do. So now this is mostly what I wanted to show you. And then you have like list as well. So velocity list I'll talk about. You can use opacity, object, and all that stuff. Let me just show you if I have some more time. So basically it's like you can use opacity here. So let's say opacity, and you can say 25, then it will be 25% visible. And then you can change it to object as well. So object at bottom right, then it will be moved to bottom. And similarly you can say object, let's say center, then it will move to center. So yes, we have all these things here with VelocityX. Then there are other velocity widgets as well. Let me just show you. So if you want to show something like what else you want to show, so let's say you want to show something like a shimmer kind of thing, then you can use as of now velocity 0. So velocity 0 list is there. So what it will do, it will show you this shimmer thing, which I'm just gonna show you. If I do a hot restart, and okay, where it gone? Why it didn't work? It didn't work for some reason. Physical shape issue, some issue came. Let me just try it again. And yep, so there is something going on with my device. Let me just try it with the OnePlus device. So basically by the time I am talking about that, if you have any questions, you can ask it. So this is more or less about this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. There is still a lot of things which if you will go to the documentation, then you will definitely find it. But more or less this was it. Let me know what you think about VelocityX, and what you see that if is yes. So there is shapes, like rounding shapes is there. So as you can see, velocity 0 gives you this feedback. I don't know if you can see it, but it's more like you know, there is a shimmer effect. It's not exactly visible, so I don't know if you can see it. Let me know if you can see it. Yes, so for shapes, by default VelocityX provides you few things. Let's say if I remove this, if I say card, okay, and card, so there is, in card you have a property, let's say shape. So you can use shape, and you can use VelocityX dot let's say rounded. so it will make the card rounded. So let's say if I have this card data dot padding 64, so something like this, let's say, and this is the card color, color, let's say red. Okay, so these are the shapes provided by VelocityX as of now. Directly shape in if you want to just apply shape, there are only 3 right now, but I will be adding more here. Because why 3? Because there is like, you can directly use circle border, so I don't have to specify it. You can directly use, let's say, stadium border. So that's why I haven't made many of them, but yes, this is more like it. So yes, that's mostly about this video, guys. I'll create more like about beautiful UIs, like I'll take some UI designs and I'll try to make video using VelocityX, as well as I will try to maybe make some responsive designs as well using VelocityX. I hope you liked it. So if someone has joined me recently, so VelocityX, you can watch this video later. It's a 1 hour video, but it will explain you what is VelocityX. It's a framework for rapidly doing design using tailwind like approach. So that's more or less, guys. So I'll give next 3 minutes to take more questions, and then we will end this live stream finally after 1 hour 10 minutes. So if you have any question, you can ask it right now, and we are mostly done with this part. And tell me that if it fixes your responsive problem, so that I can like maybe work on something else. So yes, you can modify velocity zero list if that is your question. So if I just show you, so body velocity zero list, so zero card is also there is zero list as well. So if you'll see, it can ask you like, if you want circular image, then you can say, if it is dark, then you can like say true. If you want how many length you want, like by default it is 10, but you can say, let's say if you say length is 5, then it will only show 5 items here. Let's say just 2, then it will only show 2 items here, if that is visible to you. Then if you say dark, then your app should be dark as well, otherwise it won't look good. So you can make it dark. And then circular image, if I say false, then it will show this triangular image. It's right now not looking amazing, but yes, there's something. Is bottom lines active? If I say false, then this bottom lines will be gone. This is really looking very bad using this circular image. So circular image was good. Yes, so yes, you can do something like this. What if I want it for tablet and mobile, different views? Yes, you can do it like how I it works anywhere, to be honest. Like if you, even if you will try to use it on mobile or web or tablet, anywhere it will look good. So that's not a problem, and there will be more of the things. Like it's like there is a project which I'll share with you guys soon, that what is coming in next few months. So that's the idea. So I think it will fix. I think Zaid Sheikh, you have opened that issue in the morning, right? So I've already closed that. I wasn't sure that those properties are not available with Flutter stable channel, so I didn't check it actually. I added those properties yesterday only, so that has been fixed. And then I think more or less this is something which I wanted to convey. Um, Shapes make with clipper, not exactly, but I'm working on writing few clippers. So basically what it will do, it will like, normally what kind of shapes you draw is we will have like custom widgets for that using VelocityX. So you can use those widgets directly rather than like providing your own clipper. So yeah, that's something that's also in the list. So yes, that's more or less the idea. And if you are wondering that how much size it will increase for your app, then also I can tell you that. So it will increase around like 100 KB or something for your application if you will use VelocityX. If or any other library, it uses like few KBs are there. So VelocityX also for fat APK I'm saying that it takes around 100 KB. But if you will do something else, like if you will split those APKs, or if you're using something like what we call it, um, app bundle, then it will be less than that. um, so yeah, that's the idea. So I hope guys, if you don't have any other question, if you have, then you can ask me right now. I am available for next 1 more minute, and then we will end this session here. And I hope you liked. Just take your time and give me, like, if you can comment that what's how you liked like Velocity X, how, what you feel about Velocity X. Just write down whatever you think, if it's good, if it's not, whatever your views are. I can take one more minute to listen to you guys, like what you want to say. So thank you, Nusrat. It really like makes sense um, if you're waiting for updates, because updates should be necessary for any library. VelocityX provided table, not as of now. um, Table is not something which I'm supporting right now, but yes, if that is something you need, then you can create an issue or you can ask for feature request, and then I'll see if that will get some upvotes. Then I'll maybe working on that first. Can you make a movie app? I think I have given you the framework itself. You can make whatever you want to make. So yes, that's something I am not going to make, because I don't need a movie app. Why I will make it? So yes, like if something which, there are already a couple of open source movie apps if you want to take a look. That's what I can say. Okay, so whatever, like I can see 20 people are watching. So let me know what your thoughts about Velocity X. How did you find it, like if it was easy or not. Just let me know. And yeah, that's it. So I think you guys are also tired after watching 1 hour content. I was assuming that everyone would be at home, and I hope you all are fine as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the entire video. If someone was watching from like 1 hour or so, um, so yeah, that's something which I would recommend you to be safe as well, and stay at home till everything is like resolved. This coronavirus threat is really very dangerous in terms of that it spreads from us. So yeah, we have to be very careful, as well as we have to be safe. So by that, I am going to end this conversation here and this video as well. Maybe I'll come live tomorrow again for all more questions from you. So thank you so much for watching. Take care and keep fluttering, as well as keep doing Velocity X. So bye bye, take care and have a good day.